What's going on YouTube? It's your host Bruce GNT, and for today's video we have something special. This is a woman I've seen come across my For You page quite a bit, and I would hear some of her takes because I mean she looks pretty, so I just decided to listen to what she had to say. I'm sorry, don't judge me. I would just see that she had things to say and she was like a life coach or whatever. Dog shit advice. Like, don't get me wrong, some of what she said, I guess from a certain perspective you could say was good or decent, but a lot of it I've seen and heard was like, it's pretty shit. This came across my For You page, I want to say yesterday, and I was like, okay, I gotta make a video on this one because I'm not even gonna ruin it. We're gonna find out together. Okay, I already know, but we're gonna find out together.
I am 30 years old and I just surrendered my house to the bank, and I truly feel like it was one of the most freeing decisions that I've ever made, although very scary. So let's talk about it. So if you're new here, I've been experiencing a lot of financial constraint over the last 10 months as I've surrendered into my soul purpose, allowing my soul purpose path to unfold, and going through a dark night of the soul that just came with a complete deconstruction of my financial systems and structures. And that involved me facing the fact that I was carrying a lot of credit card debt. I've carried credit card debt almost all of my 20s, and in September of last year I made the decision to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy because I had about $42,000 in credit card debt with no income. So when I decided to file, I planned on retaining my house and my car because I had loans on both of them. But I never ended up signing a reaffirmation agreement on either. I don't know if that's very common or normal, but I never even received a reaffirmation agreement to sign on either of them. I plan to maintain my mortgage, but the final quarter of 2024, things really shifted in my reality and my journey. And in December, I ended up moving across country to pursue a business venture that did not pan out, but everything was leading me to here and now, which I trust in. And at the time, I had my mother was living in my home for most of last year, and she was renting from me, and that was helping me meet my mortgage payment. But she ended up finding another living situation that just worked better for her. So she ended up moving out. And initially I thought about renting it out to a tenant, but when I decided to embark on the cross-country road trip, it just became very clear that it was time for me just to release the house. With the way that my mortgage was at, so I had used my VA loan to purchase the home, so I didn't put much of a down payment down, so I really didn't.
I didn't even know that she was like, or maybe she got the VA. No. I think you have to be in the service to get the VA loan. It's not like the GI Bill. I didn't even know that because I don't really do research on her. Like, I just saw, and wow, you have a VA home and you still fuck that up. So let's jump right into it. Anyone that speaks in these mysticism, you know, I'm in my journey and everything like that, people that speak like that, they're not really saying shit a lot of the time, because a lot of what she just said was, I made a lot of dumb decisions in my 20s, didn't learn from them, and because she said she didn't have any income. And it's like, so do you not work? I don't get that. Essentially that's what she's saying. Let's talk about the whole debt aspect, right? I'm not judging people for having debt unless it's credit card debt. And how much credit card debt? I had $11,000 in credit card debt. I killed that last year because I was like, nah, not playing no games, because I'm trying to be debt free. My car is almost gone, you know, almost finito. I judge you if you have a high amount on credit card debt, because 9 times out of 10, that's consumer debt. It's not saying you have a home loan debt, you have a car debt, you know, student loan debt. Like, even with student loan debt, depending on what you went to school for, if you went to school for, I don't know, something stupid in the arts, I'm sorry, not all art degrees are stupid, but something stupid that's not going to pay you the amount that you pulled out for, i.e. you're going for a job that pays you at max $60,000, but then you have $150,000 in student loans, yeah, I judge you for that. That's stupid. What other, like, other debts like that, no, I don't really judge anybody for, because that's relatively normal. But credit card debt, which 9 times out of 10 is consumer debt, in other words, you did not know how to just turn the cap off and say, you know what, I gotta stop paying, or I need to stop buying things that I cannot afford. A lot of times that's what people are doing. They're using credit cards to buy the things they cannot afford because they don't have any money, and they're like, oh, I don't mind making payments, I could get, no. So I judge people for that shit. I really do. $42,000, come on now. When I got up to $10,000, and yeah, it was consumer debt, my fault, I handled it. I couldn't go to sleep straight when I had that $10,000. I couldn't. I really couldn't. $42,000? What was it for? That's my question. What was it for?
Didn't have much equity, and I would have lost money every single month if I rented it out, and it just felt like that would have been a huge energetic weight to carry. Not only that, you just never know what kind of tenant you're going to get, and I just didn't know what I was walking into. I just felt very overwhelmed. From the moment I purchased the home at 28, I just felt overwhelmed. I really shouldn't have bought the house. Let's be completely frank. I don't have regrets. Everything led me to here and now, but it made me extremely house poor.
That's something that people don't talk enough about. And I'm not trying to rag on no women here, because I know a lot of people feel like the minute you say anything negative about a woman, oh, you hate women. No. A lot of I've been seeing a lot of like women being like, oh, we own the most homes, especially black women. We own the most homes. We do this and that. And every time I hear that, I just go, yeah, but house poor is a real thing. You know how many people? I don't personally know people, but I've seen it many times. People that are house poor, they just buy homes and like, oh, I have a house, and it's like, but you're house poor. The house poor essentially is like you don't have enough money to furnish the house without put it on debt. You don't have enough money, like you're literally paycheck to paycheck, because you're paying house bills and everything like that. You can't afford to do the proper renovations on the home and everything like that. All those different things, that's house poor. You know, there's a lot of people that lead into that. And whenever I see, because there's like this whole movement, I remember back in 2021 or whatever, a lot of women, especially black women, saying, oh, we have our own houses, everything like that. And then a few months later, they were just like, yeah, this is a lot. You know, I don't understand the idea of putting forth so much money and not doing the proper research to look into what it means to own a home. I haven't used my VA home loan yet because I know what it takes to own a home, and I'm not trying to rock with that right now. That's too much. I'm really not. You know, I wouldn't be house poor, but I'd definitely be struggling. Nah, I'm not trying to live in no struggle. Another thing too, I hate when people try to make it seem like that the mistakes they made were supposed to happen. Look, in some cases, yes, but there are cases where you just made dumbass mistakes because you just didn't want to, I don't know, listen to the little thing inside your head saying, no, this is stupid, or people around you, and you find yourself in the situation that you're in. Don't try to make it seem like, oh, it was the universe. She led me here. No, bitch, it was you. You walked your own 2 feet over there.
I went from a rent payment of $1,700 to a mortgage with HOA of payment about $2,700. Buying a house was not a good financial decision, but I felt so rushed to do it simply because I was trying to check the milestones that would make me feel like I was doing okay. Oops, cut me off. I wanted to feel like I was doing okay in life, and I was looking around at everybody around me. This is at a subconscious level, not at a conscious level, okay? But everybody around me is getting married, having kids, buying houses. I'm still living in my hometown. I'm single at 28 years old, and I think I just felt like I needed to do it to prove something to myself, or maybe to others. I don't really know. But I bought the house, and it wasn't a good financial decision. They say don't buy the house until you're ready, and that's really true. But I think I was so programmed and conditioned to believe that buying a house was this great investment, and it was such an important thing to do because you don't want to be wasting money on rent every single month. But 5 months after purchasing the house, I wanted to leave and start living nomadically. So pretty quickly after buying the house, it just started to feel like a giant ball and chain, and one that I couldn't really get out of because you can't sell the house within 2 years without paying short-term capital gains. Even in this last winter, I thought about selling the house, but I didn't have enough equity to be able to sell it because with excise taxes and agent fees, I would have had to owe money. I would have had to pay money to sell my house, which I did not have. So because I had filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy, it protected me in many ways. I decided to just surrender the house. Because I had never signed a reaffirmation agreement, once my bankruptcy was filed, the mortgage quit reporting on my credit report. So I was no longer legally liable for the debt, which means that none of the surrendering of my house or anything has reported on my mortgage. No lates, nothing, because I quit paying the mortgage payment in December. It's not one of the decisions I'm most proud of, to be honest, but I am proud of myself for making a decision that is best for my journey and for my soul, even though I know it could come with a lot of shame. I don't really feel shame about it, to be honest. I feel like it was a good decision, but I think Lana 6 months ago would have been very, very embarrassed about this. So I finally today got the paperwork to sign, and it just feels like a huge release. It feels like I'm just relinquishing this ball and chain that I never needed. And yeah, does this impact my ability to buy a home in the future? Of course. I just have no desire to own a home on my own ever again. I prefer to rent. I like the flexibility of being able to break a lease and leave whenever I want. I like being able to submit a maintenance request when something breaks.
Don't listen to that. Like, I keep forgetting she's a life coach, because if you're listening to someone like this, God help you. Bless your heart. No, don't listen to this, because what she just said right here was stupid. You can't, look, you can break a lease whenever you want, but unless you want to be paying all this different types of money, why would you want to do that? That's stupid. That's dumb. Don't go around just breaking your lease thinking that's cool. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not good. Don't do that. Please don't. I know people that have done that and they regret that because it was a lot of money. It's not fun. Please don't do that. Don't think that that's smart. The fact that she's a life coach and she's someone that's giving people advice, I hope to God, if you're looking to someone like her for advice, you're probably in a worse position. But if you are, don't look to her to help you out or whatever situation, because she just said it herself. She didn't even have the wherewithal to understand her own mental processes of why she felt like she needed to get a house before she bought a house until after the fact. She didn't do her own internal work to figure out, okay, why do I feel like I need to buy this house? She did that after the fact, after she got her ass in trouble when it came to her finances, everything like that. I don't want to take life advice from someone that can't do their own self work to figure that part out before they make a huge life decision, a huge financial life decision at that. I don't. And you shouldn't want to either. Because if you, at the age of 28, an adult, if you can't figure out why you do the things that you do, or why you feel like you were pressured into doing something, you shouldn't be giving people advice on how they should conduct themselves in their own life. And just like what I was saying before, a lot of people are going out buying houses, a lot of the women, sorry to say, were going out buying houses, and they were just doing it because they felt like they had to just to prove something. Then all of a sudden they end up house poor. No, move at your own pace. Some of the best advice I ever got was from a teacher that was like, look, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. People are like popcorn. Everyone has their own moment of pop. And that might be corny, but shit, it hasn't led me astray yet. I'm trying to be better than what I was the day before. That's my whole mindset. I'm not trying to be better than anyone else than myself. That's it. Then when it comes to other things, obviously I want to compare myself to other people, but I do it in a healthy way to where I'm not saying, I gotta have this. No, I don't have to have anything. I don't have to have any of that shit. I gotta have what's good for me and what's gonna be beneficial to me and the people in my corner. God help you if you're taking advice from her. Please. I'm not saying that this is, a signifier to show her success, but single at 28, seemingly no job, and kind of unable to do for herself. I'm just saying.
I like having all the responsibility of being a homeowner. I recognize it's very privileged to be in this position because I know there's so many people that desire homeownership, and we live in a housing market that doesn't really support first-time home buyers. But if I could go back, I would have just kept renting. Created so much more freedom for me. But today feels like the closing of a cycle. I feel like I'm finally buttoning up all of the messes that my dark night of the soul created. And now we get to move forward and build something that's more in alignment with me.
I will always see her stuff pop up, and when I saw this, I was like, oh, because I don't know, I would just see her and I was like, oh, she's cute, and I would listen to what she's saying, and I was like, this is so stupid. Like, some of what she was saying was just like, oh, this doesn't sound right. Why are you telling people to do these things? No. The light of your soul. People that speak like that annoy the hell out of me, because just speaking layman's terms, all right, I don't want to hear all this like spiritual mumbo jumbo bullshit, because you're not even spiritual aligned with your own self. Like, come on now. But yeah, that's really it. I saw this the other day and I was like, yo, I gotta make a video on this because this is just hilarious. It's not funny. I would never rejoice or laugh at people. No, that's not true. I would. I feel sorry for the fact that she's in this situation, but I'm laughing at how she got herself there. I'll say that, because that's just hilarious. I hope the best for her. That's what I'll say. I hope the best for her. I hope the best for you too. Hopefully if you're in this situation, you're not listening to someone like her, listen to someone else. Hell, don't even listen to me, because I don't even have it all figured out. I just have more common sense than her. Get out of that dark night of the soul, because it's bad for you, I guess. I don't know. That's all I got for this video. You already know the drill. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment down below. Tell me if you've seen her before, if you've seen like some of her advice that she's giving out to people, or maybe you've listened to her, maybe you still do listen to her and you think I'm an asshole for making fun of her or laughing at her. I don't really care. And subscribe if you want to see more. I might check in on her from time to time Nah, it's kind of like bullying. I don't really care. Yeah, but that's it for now. Peace.